Okay, good afternoon all. Hope everyone is well. Market opens in just under half a minute. Just been looking at this. We've had, be interested to see whether that holds or not. We've pushed up. We've had a really strong bull bar up there. Usually when it's that close to that EMA and that tight, usually it holds. But it didn't in this case. I was very tempted to take that. I left it in the end. Karina, good morning to you. Daryl, how you doing, buddy? So market is open. So we've had these two legs up. So whether there's a channel there with a break and a few attempts at a new high, it's hard to say really. I got kind of mixed feelings here. Could just be two legs really. But we got a touch, and it looks kind of like a channel, doesn't it, in a sense? With a break, especially as we get that higher low and try and push up, and then it just down it comes. So at the moment I'm just sitting tight. Okay, so you can see Bookmap's livened up now, so there are orders coming in. The stronger orders are up here, but there is kind of a mixed bag, but there are, you know, some big orders coming down here, so maybe we have two legs down. If I look down here, 68.80, which is 68, sorry, 60. Yeah, 68.80, which is here, which is below this level here. There are buyers there. It's been a really bullish few days, actually. I think the last 4 or 5 days. So yesterday, January opened here, relatively bullish. Same again day before. Kind of a mixed bag there. And then we're kind of down, but we're about 150 points maybe from all-time highs. I think all-time highs are around about the 69.50, somewhere around about there. So it's generally bullish at the moment, but we're obviously having something here. So there was liquidity up there. There is still liquidity up there. It's about 9.05, which is up here. So yeah, we'll see how we get on to it anyway. Little Hammer, how you doing, buddy? So I wanted to mention something to you guys as well. There was something. I'll mention it in a few bit. It's just a new button that I've noticed that you can. In fact, I've not even set up here. Let me just get this set up here. 210. I usually keep it on sim until I'm about ready to go, and I haven't switched it over yet. So 210, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Beautiful. So let me just make sure everything's opening as it should.
Order submitted.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Beautiful. One contract.
Order cancelled.
Yeah. Okay. Everything's good. So we got a channel down there with a break. So you've got to be a little bit careful here because we've had kind of looks like a little double bounce there. Not quite as low as there. It's always a possibility that we have something like this. I mean, we got some orders down here, so we've kind of bounced here. So this section here may kind of just be ranging. So there's a first entry. If we can come back here and then get a second go at this line, I may have a go at that. So, as I say, 880, there are orders down here. This is 82.50 as well. There are orders there. So I think there's bound to be some liquidity down in this gap here. So if we can get a second push up and get some reaction there, we may get two legs up and a short. So I don't think there's any news today. since I've got this in fact, let me just drag it in anyway. Put this. Trouble is, you gotta put it on the screen you want to use it on, so it has to go here. So yeah, we got no news today, so we can shut that down. That's okay. So leg up, leg up. Let's see what happens here. Let's get an order up here. This wouldn't
Order
be too bad
submitted.
if we closed here, got a push up and then a bearish bar. That wouldn't be too bad, I don't think. Clearly 2 legs up. Okay, it's triggered. That's one good thing. Let's see where this thing goes. It's gone up a bit higher than I was expecting, that is. It's a shame, really, because, mind you, depends how you look at this. We could adjust this a little bit to maybe there. This ends up bearish and below the EMA. I'd have a go at that. No, it's a bit too risky for me, that. Not a massive fan of the bar.
Order cancelled.
We have bounced at this level, so you don't know whether we're going to... See, there's always a possibility. The trouble is, this earlier on in the market, it's hard to know exactly what's going on, but we've had 2 legs up. We could rattle around this area for a bit, which means this thing may go up to this level. If I'm looking on Bookmap, we got a very mixed bag of orders above and orders below. And when that happens, that tells me we got sellers here and buyers here, which is telling me it's quite lightly rangy. And if that's the case, I'm staying out of this middle area. There are orders at sort of about 86, which is down here, and that may come down, trap some shorts, and then there's orders up around the 92, which is here. So there are a whole load of shorts and longs here, right around this midsection. So I think really the sensible thing to do is to avoid all this area and just concentrate on tops and bottoms. Because really it could kind of go anywhere at the moment. So that's a possibility anyway, that we could have some kind of a range forming there. Just kill that colour a bit because it's not set in stone. It's just a bit of a possibility. But what I will say is we've had this move up. We've had 1-2 attempts to go lower. So maybe it will attempt to test this area up here. I am seeing orders at around about 92-ish. Which is here, and around about 94-ish, which is here, and then up at 900 at the top. So more of the orders, mind you, it's the trouble is you can see it's changing by the minute. Then there are some 85 down here, so it's hard to know exactly where this thing's going. But the best thing I can say is to stay out of this middle. That's what I'm going to do. I kind of forgot that a couple of days ago and got into a trade that I shouldn't have done, really. You know, Bookmap is the backup. It's the guide. If when I'm looking to get in, that's what I use as guidance. But I'm not looking to use this to get into somewhere that isn't a setup. So I gotta kind of keep that in mind. So maybe there's something like that. Little Hammer, have I said hello to you? I think I did. How you doing, buddy? Right, let's just have a quick look at how everyone else is doing.
Maybe
Okay, not as flat at the moment. Life, you really should do a short video. You can explain clearly how we can use bookmap plus our price action. Yeah, maybe I will. Maybe I will. But the trouble is, the easiest way to describe it. So there was a couple of traders that took trades last week. I think mid to the end of last week off a key area. I think there was like a triple test. He took a trade here. I saw a large amount of buyers at bookmap, so I left it, triggered him, stopped him out. So, yeah, to be honest with you, I'm kind of not a video kind of making YouTuber. I just kind of stream my trades. So I'm relatively new to the video stuff, but I don't think it would be that complicated. So yeah, maybe I can. The trouble is, I think you've got to kind of take snapshots. In fact, tell a lie. That's an idea actually. I took two. I showed you yesterday. I took 2 snapshots of what not to do. So that might be a good guide. So that was the second one. That was the first one. So, there are areas that you would be tempted to buy, depending on you may look at that section plus the break and the new low, and there's a bullish bar off the bottom. With these large amount of orders, I didn't take that, triggered, stopped it out. Same again, you may consider that clearly going sideways as a failed breakout. What happens? I didn't take it because there was a large amount of orders. So that's probably quite a straightforward example of how not to get into a trade when you can see a large amount of buy orders. I can't remember what happened there, whether it came down or what, but it's just a good example of if you'd have got in there, triggered your buy, tick came down, exactly the same there. So yeah, maybe I could do something with that. I don't need to do nothing quite so dynamic, do I? You've got to kind of be careful because I've got a little bit too confident in it, which caused me to have a couple of losses. You've still got to kind of you've still got to focus on the chart, and I think that's what I missed the other day. As I say, bookmap for me is playing a little bit more of a part, but I think really I don't want to let it take over what I do. The simple fact is, if I see a setup, a good setup, and like I've just shown you on there, and I see a large amount of buyers where my stop is, then that's what I use for to save me the odd loss. You can save yourself 1 loss a month. If I got 10 accounts and I lose an average of $175, that's $1,750. If I save myself 1 loss a month, that's $1,750 saving. It's a huge amount, really. So yeah, I might do something over the weekend. Find your method so helpful. I can't know how it works exactly. Yeah, I mean, you need to see the simplest way I can describe. Bookmap looks a bit technical, but it's relatively straightforward. All this stuff looks, if you put a complete novice and looked at this, they wouldn't know their arse from their elbow. But you can see these areas where there are buyers. Now, if you had no areas of buyers down here and constantly sellers up here, that would say market's generally going to, be drawn up slowly. So for me, if I was taking let's say I was taking a long trade now, and I had a massive amount of buyers right below where my stop was going to be, there's a good chance market will come down to that level. So if I'm going long, that's a good idea not to get in. Now, this is just a good example. We took off the bottom here. Now, I said I think there's a good chance because of orders up here, price will get up here. But you can see these big areas at 82.5 and 80. So there's 82.5 and there's 80. It didn't get that far before we're making 2 legs back down towards these orders. They're quite large orders. You can see they're a very deep red. Yes, there are orders up here as well, so you expect price to go to them. But when you've got strong orders above and strong orders below a reasonable amount, that tells me there are sellers at the top and buyers at the bottom, which indicates to me a range. So bounce, bounce, bounce. You know what I mean? So if we can get down below here, pick up those orders, drop a little bit more, clean out any liquidity here, and get a push up here, you may trade that as a failed breakout. But when you take that failed breakout, if you've got a large amount of orders like that below where you get in, that's another good reason to sort of avoid it. But when that started pushing up, you wouldn't expect two legs and we're right back down here again. It looked to me, once we got above that EMA, that this thing was quite likely going to work its way to the top. But if you look on Bookmap, we got orders at 900 and we got orders at 800 like that. And when price was around here, funnily enough, top, bottom, this is more or less in the middle, which indicates usually, to me anyway, price is basically going up, down, up, down, up, down. So kind of ranging. So if I was looking to take a trade, let's say I decided to put a passive order in and just leave it, this would be the area to buy. And funnily enough, if you look on Bookmap, this and this level are two sets of buyers. So that kind of makes sense. So if I get a good set off the bottom, that would indicate to me that I'm going to ride up with a bunch of other buyers. So it's not that difficult. Once you get your head around it, I think the easiest thing to do is look at these areas of liquidity and see how often price gets to them. And if you can see a setup, let's say, for instance, I took a long off the bottom here and you can see orders down here and it triggered, came down, you would start thinking, oh, next time I take a short or long off the bottom, I'm going to be looking at Bookmap to see if there's anything to indicate to me that maybe price may come down first before it pushes up. Now, if we were traders, the trouble with Pats is we trade and our stop goes one tick below the signal bar, so we've got no room for error. But there we go. So it's just dropped right down. It picked up that and picked up that. In fact, I haven't played it, have I? It's on pause. You dickhead. Excuse me. So it's picked up those orders now, yeah? So, you know, if I was put my order here and my stop down here and was, you know, targeting the top, I would have a little bit of room for error, wouldn't I? If it tricked me, came down, picked up the buy orders there, picked up the buy orders there and took off. That is a decent sized buffer. But unfortunately, as a Pats trader, we're not so lucky. Our stop goes there. So how many times have we been stopped out by a few ticks only for it to go off in the same direction that we expected? So this will hopefully save you. Now, would you trade this as a failed breakout? I can't see very strong orders below price at the moment. There are strong orders at 82.50, which is there. So maybe sellers are saying if price comes back up and retests this bottom, I'm going to sell there. And hey presto, look at those orders at 82.50. So let's get rid of that. So I think traders, from what I can see, with the short here, are thinking this is going to come up, retest this area, and then push down. So, well, it's funny you should say that, Titan. You just said it's a wider trend down. Based on what I'm seeing, it's telling me price is going to come up here and come down. And if you connect the dots, something like that, and price comes up here, then yeah, you can kind of see why. I think it's probably more there because I'd like to bring this down a little bit lower. So let me just get rid of that one out of the way. So we've had two legs down at the moment. I would like to see confirmation up here, really. Certainly at this level now. Price is actually going down some more there. So I'm guessing, yeah, there are a few more aggressive sellers. So as price goes down, there's going to be liquidity there. We've got a leg up. There's a nice second entry long there. There's bound to be liquidity there. So maybe it's clearing this out, you know, before it continues on up. It's hard to say, really. Trouble is with these channels, they're developing constantly. You constantly micro adjusted them, so nothing is set in stone, only temporarily until price decides to do something else. So, so yeah, I mean, we've pushed up and had a bounce there, so that wouldn't be too bad. You know, as I say, nothing is set in stone, is it? There's a couple of people with something like that. Trouble is, we got an overshoot there, so it's hard to say, really, isn't it? Doesn't seem to be working too bad there. So this is just a little bit unclear at the moment, whether we're just ranging and it's going to find its way down or whether we're going to pull back. But usually if we had something like this would be the place that you would be looking for a short when it pulls back to previous support, becomes resistance. So channel down, 2 legs up, retest this area, bearish bar, that's where we jump in and go short. You can see there's a lump of orders, 2,559 contracts right there. So if price comes back here, and when you think about it, where is this? It's very close to the top of the channel, and it's also, like I just mentioned, right at support. But sometimes it just doesn't get up here. And hey presto, what's happening now? Maybe there's something like that. It is actually bouncing. Let me make that a bit larger. See how it's bounced there on the midline, and right there on the midline, and there on the midline, and there on the midline. So that doesn't look too bad as a 2-tiered channel. So we got 2 legs up here. Would I take a short here? No. Not that I think it won't work, but that to me, I'm guessing, is a leg up. For me, price would have to come into this area, because if I go short here, now we know price moves towards liquidity. If there's not enough sellers there, it'll trigger it possibly and then push up to where the sellers are, because I can't see very strong orders here. There are orders at 72, but not as strong as the orders at 825. So 72 actually, which is below the lows. Now, is it going to make it down? It may do. Depends how many shorts here, but I wouldn't take a short here. Mainly because of these orders up here. Now, I'm guessing it's going to be traders going short there. Now, it may well work, but for me, it's risky. Now, this might be another good example. In fact, I'm hoping it does push up, because that'll prove my point. So what I'm going to do is take a screenshot of this with a bearish bar off the top there and just save that. So if price does push up and stop that out, that would be a good example. Now, there are no guarantees it would. I wouldn't take that purely because there's a... But if traders think that's bearish enough, it'll go. You know, if you get enough sellers selling there, it'll push down. Depends how many people think that's a valid reason to go short. Can you see some aggressive buyers starting to grow there? 3 odd million compared to 2 odd million. See what I mean? Now, all of a sudden, if you're in that short, you're starting to panic a bit. One, it's too far from that EMA for me. This may be a second entry short. Same again, until it breaks above there and gets to this area towards these sellers, I'm staying out. Now, that is just going to make my job of explaining why not to go short there. So it kind of looks like a valid place to go short, doesn't it? It's not technically a second entry short because this is lower, but it's certainly a hidden second entry short. Now, would you go short there 2 legs up? I wouldn't, because we're so close to these orders. So let's get an order up here. And if we pick up these sell orders, which we have done, in fact, they've yanked them. Can you see them disappeared? Those sell orders have been chucked. Now, there's 2 legs up there, so we could go short here. No, I don't like the bar anyway. Can you see it didn't hit that line, but they yanked those orders. So they've obviously changed their mind there. Bet you any money they'll have been shorts there. So there's not much in the way of orders around here. Unfortunately, there's nothing I can do with that or here, but it is coming down. It got very close to that. So those orders up there dragged price towards it. Then they got yanked. So what happened? Price just started to drop. So down here, 72.50. That's where I expect price to hit. Unfortunately, we had two legs up there, but it got close to the bottom of this. So the thought process was right. Unfortunately, we just never really had an entry on neither of them really. That it came down and then wicked up. Still orders down here, not as many though.
Order cancelled.
Still expect two legs down. If we can break above this. Those orders got filled, as you can see from cumulative. Did they? Now that okay, now that kind of makes sense. The thing about this, because it's not huge, those orders are actually below 250, I think, which let's call it 225. Yeah, okay. So yeah. I've not got it that blown up. If you look across there, yeah, all that really is below 250 is the very top of them, which is there and going down to there. So yeah, that makes sense. Literally on the tick. Yeah, okay. So that makes sense. And what happened? Price dropped. Now, as I say, if I'd have had those orders did disappear. If I'd have had a bearish bar here, I had my order ready, I would have taken it. Unfortunately, we didn't. But that's the kind of downside with Pats, isn't it? But that would have been a nice area to sell, wouldn't it? You know, unfortunately, I got jack shit here, so I missed out on it. But how quick did it come down? Played its part well, didn't it? So if that'd have been a short there, I'd have been in and out in my 3 points before that bar even closed comfortably. So there's still orders down at about 65, 67, right down here. So this thing may continue to go. If we can get two legs back up, then that may give us something like that. Move down, two little legs up, two little legs up. Turn them into kind of one big leg, one on one. We may still get something up here. Second entry short here, possibly. Now, I'm looking for orders up here. I can't see any, really. We do look like we've had two legs up there. Now, I'd like to see strong orders here, but I can't see any at the moment. It's very tempting, that bar there. Very tempting. It's just wicked back a bit. We kind of still got two legs up, but I'd have preferred this to get up to this level or break it in an ideal world. Like to see orders back at this level. Maybe we'll get some. Trouble is, if I see a short here and I see no sellers there, does that mean I'm right or it's not a good place to sell? I have a question. How much should I make to pass? How much should I make to pass at 25? How much should you make? Okay, you might have to, a second, this is interesting. You might have to adapt that question a bit. You got to get 1,500 to pass an evaluation. Just adjust that question a bit. But how much should you make? It'd be 1.5K. Are they? Well, yeah, I think they're $1,500 you got to make. Got 2 legs up there in a bearish bar. Trouble is, we've made a new low. I don't think this is a channel up. It's not looking like a channel, but I would prefer to wait for a lower high. There is 2 legs up. Yeah, I think you got to do $1,500. So, depends how you want to trade it, really. If it's an evaluation, you can trade them aggressively or not. I would suggest probably a couple of contracts, something like that, maybe. Okay, so we're at the top here now. So nice bearish bar here wouldn't be a bad idea, I don't think. And it's testing the bottom here. So bookmap, orders at 85. Where's 85? There. Not very strong, though. Stronger orders down here. It's very tempting, that is. But I think the sensible thing, if you're not sure, wait for the lower high. The lower high will rule out you getting stopped out on this first bar. You're welcome, mate. Anytime. I do like the fact that it's testing this, which is good. We have had 2 legs up. Get a lower high here, I think that'd be okay to come down. You can see orders down here, 65-ish, right the way down here. Where's the top line? About 66. So there's orders right the way down here. So if we can get a lower high here, I don't think that's a bad option. It does look like a little micro with a break and a new high. But I think really if you're not sure or something doesn't feel right, you're always better to wait for the lower high because you're seeing this now pushing up all of a sudden. If you're to take this, it's not looking so good now. You wait for the lower high, you rule out getting stopped out here. Now there are orders at, there we go, 85. You can see them up here now. So that tells me there's a good chance this is going to get stopped out. So that's why I wait for the lower high. You never know, it may hold, but most of the time that with orders up there like that, right above a bearish bar. The trouble is we're hitting this area now. Now, although they're there, they're not super strong, but I think it's always best to wait for the lower high. Let's see if this gets hit. The orders there, that's what I'd be waiting for. Unless all of a sudden we get aggressive sellers. It looks like the other side, actually, we got slightly more buyers here, so I'm guessing that's going to get stopped out. Slightly more aggressive buyers. There we go. So that's, you'd have taken that, depending on how much you go for. Certainly wouldn't have worked for me. You'd have got about 2 points, maybe a bit less. If you go a tick below, so 1.75 before it turned and stopped you out. So another good reason, while those are there above that, it's not super straightforward. It could be 2 separate channels, could be 1 big channel, in which case I think you're much safer to wait for the high-low. That way you rule out getting stopped out straight away. Let me just see if anybody else has got that. Second. Yeah. Just looking to see if anybody else has got anything like this. Now, if this is about right, we've reacted again. I'm just not super sure about that. I'd like to see someone else with a chart like that. I want to wait and see if this breaks out before I post it. The reason I'm thinking short is because of all these orders down here. There is a lower high there, but as I say, I'm just not sure what's going on. This, to me, is a bit broad to look upon as a channel. It could be, but it's not. It's two sides side by side, really. They're well, broad for want of a better word. Possible second entry short there. Failure, second entry short. Same again, reacting off that key entry point. You're bound to get some long stop there. Like the bar. There's a second entry short there. Very tempting. It's definitely reacting off there. Certainly finding some resistance there. There's no argument there. So there are orders at 87 up here, but we still got a massive orders down this area here. So I still think there's a good chance price test these lows. It's clearly finding finding it difficult to get through there. So it's clearly reacting there. So I don't think you can deny that now. Okay, what I like is there's loads of orders from 70 downwards. So if we can get a pullback, we may get a way in. So orders from there right down to about 65. So now it makes sense. Look how much liquidity is down here. Bounce, 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 bounce. Depending on where you got your stop here, thinking we make a second leg up, which we did, depends how you're holding. Like, I mean, really, you're thinking if you're getting in here, you'd be getting out here. But my guess is if price gets down to here, it's going to clear out any liquidity down here, and there is a stack of orders down. Now, it may not. There's enough buyers in here, they may try and prop it up. So what I like is a channel down with a break. We need a couple of legs up. I'd think about getting in there, I would. Because with this liquidity down here, this is perfect. Clear downtrend now. We've got a channel down. If we can get 2 attempts to push up higher and get a nice bearish bar up here. Trouble is, when price is kind of looking relatively obvious, a lot of the times it just pops out and drops. We don't even get up there, but so not quite to the EMA. It's only a first entry. We may not even get a second entry. This thing may just come careering down. That's the frustrating side of Pats. We've got to wait for 2 legs. Now, I say frustrating, I mean that with tongue in cheek. You know, it kind of makes sense. You may get caught out on the first one. At least the second one, chances are, if it's pushed up twice and it still couldn't get up, we get a bearish bar, chances are buyers may decide to give it a miss. So we need a second entry here. Just going to get an order up here just
Order
in case. I don't
submitted.
want to be faffing around, panicking, trying to drop one in or trying to open one up. We need to drop below this ideally. Come on, a couple of ticks. We didn't even do it there. Come on, get down a bit more. Got very close to it. Mind you, could call it hidden second entry short. That'd be okay. It's okay. That's dropped below. That's what we wanted. Now we need a push up now. Come on, push up. Push, push. Come on, where are them aggressive buyers? Come on, I need you. Push, boys. Come on. Up, 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 up. That's what I mean. Sometimes if it's obvious, it just gets out and drops. Come on. Come on, aggressive buyers. Come on, put your foot down. Come on, they're climbing a little bit. Not as much as I like. What I will say is if you look on this left one, we've got a big bar, slightly smaller one, slightly smaller one. So it's losing momentum. So we've still got hope. Well, we did have hope. Maybe not so much now. So they're large and then they get smaller and smaller. There we go. That's what I wanted. bound to be some stops we hit there. Can't confuse that with a channel, so we need to close here and then break above it. We may get a good setup here if we're lucky. Need to get above there though. Not much in the way of orders up here either. All the orders are about 71.5 down, so if we can get a good setup here. $77.50. There's a small amount there. That would be enough. That would be about the right place. 77.50 would be there. That would be perfect. If we can hit that, 2 beautiful legs up nice and broad, that would be an absolute corker to go short, I think. So if we can get above this here, that bar, we should have a little push up to this level, pick up these few sellers here, and then give us a bearish bar. What are you whining out, lad? Excuse me a sec. Fortunately, not quite good enough. It's so close. It still may go up. Yeah, see this bearish bar? I wanted to get above it. If we got above it, we'd hit those orders. Unfortunately, that looks really good, isn't it? I love how broad that is. Unfortunately, I just don't think we're going to get up there. I think this is just going to come down. In fact, I'm going to ditch that.
Order cancelled.
That's a real shame there, because that was looking beautiful. If we'd have hit that level, closed here, hit that level and had a bearish bar, that would have been an absolute cracking. Disco, how you doing, buddy? Speedy, how you doing, mate? I think it'll come down now anyway. It's so unfortunate that. I wonder if anybody got that on a different chart, because that was looking absolutely sweet. Yeah, when I posted that and went, is anybody else looking at that? No one said anything, and Dan put a red cross that he wasn't interested. Thing is, everybody's doing it now. Thomas is doing it. Archer's doing it. Taylor's doing it. This guy's doing it. So, and him. Everyone's doing it. If I look on Dan's, when I put mine, he didn't like it for some reason, which is strange. He's doing it. I put that. Anyone else look at this possibility? Dan put no. That surprised me. And now everyone else is kind of looking at it. I don't see how you at least had to pay attention to it. We still may get up here. This may go a little bit sideways, which is probably not a bad thing. Better than just coming straight down. So a little bit of liquidity there. You can just see it slightly bright there. 106 contracts. It's not a huge amount, but if we can hit that, I think that would give us the momentum. But there is a lower high here. I'm just sitting tight because there's no room. This ain't finished yet. There's barely a tick or two to the lows anyway. There's nothing. A couple of ticks if you're lucky. In fact, less than that. So you can't do nothing there anyway. Hopefully we go sideways and we get a triple test or fail breakout. Ideally, a fail breakout would take us above and into this level anyway. So I'm just going to pop that there. We're clearly going a little bit sideways, which is a good thing. What I'd want to avoid doing is coming straight down, which it looks like we may. I'd rather rattle around a bit because we get a pop out the top. That's when we can get into a short. I don't want to come down, although I feel it may. You can see those orders, they start at 70, so there's quite a few, but I'm hoping this rattles around a bit first. Breakout pull back to a short, yeah. Trouble is, with a few orders here, there's bound to be shorts here. Neither of them are very strong positions, and awfully often when you get these weaker positions, price shoots up and clears them out. But you can clearly see on Bookmap we've got a massive orders down here, haven't we? There's probably about 800 or 900 contracts over this area, and rightly so. This is what kind of way you'd expect the buyers. I'd still want to wait for a push up the top and break out here. I don't think I'd want to take a short that low and that far from the EMA because it may be a double trap. It may trigger you, and then. So for me, I'd like a push up. I don't take many of those breakout pullbacks, especially on something like this at the moment, especially when we've had. In fact, it's more two legs up than sideways. I put it sideways because we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 touches on the bottom, 1, 2, 3, 4 on the top. So you can argue that there's a little bit of a range going on here. So there is a little lower high there, breakout pullback. It's not a huge risk, but at the moment, I'm just not a fan of this. It could clear out. These aren't strong positions to go short, so it could pop up, stop out this, clear out a bit of liquidity. So I'm just sitting tight here. I just have a bad feeling. This is looks a bit vague to me. And the right decision there. So for me, the only way I'm getting into this market down here is to get in here. I'm still surprised there isn't a lot more orders at this level. Because if I was going to get into this, I'd that looks better. I'm still sitting and waiting at the moment, although that may do it. Certainly not now, anyway. So we've got to get up and out. These are weak positions. I can't see many shorts here, so this is going to be an easy target, in my opinion. Now, I'm hoping we get some orders here. We have got some. So issue. Just transfer email to website support. Sorry, Matt. I didn't read the first comment. Heard back from Ticket on Gat yesterday. Just waiting on info. Back again to get hopefully later today. I did get a response. Good on you, mate. Yeah, he's changed things, isn't he? Because he said when I spoke to him online, he actually, when I got my new computer, he actually hooked up to it via Google Link or whatever and sorted it out for me. And he did say, "Didn't you get the email? He's changed how you do it." And I didn't get an email for some reason. So this is doing what I expected it to do. Now, still a massive load of short orders here. So that's hit those few orders that were there. So let's see what happens now. Definitely argue that's a triple test. 1, 2, 3.
Order submitted.
I'm going to have to take this.
Order submitted.
Big bearish bar up there. I think it's got to be taken, that. You can see these big sell orders down here. Not a huge risk, 3.25 points, not massive. So hold on a minute. What's gone on here? My order's looking red. Oh, it's okay. It's okay. A couple of ticks off the bottom there. I don't like that pullback, that's for certain. There's a lower high now on here pushing down, so I think that might be okay there. Come on, push.
Order filled.
Beautiful. Okay, is everything working as it should? Yeah. So that worked really nice there. Clear triple test. It's exactly what I was looking for. It's a failure. Push up, clear at this. They're very weak positions. They're not strong positions here. There's not a strong short there. There's not a strong short there. So often it'll push up, clear everything before it pushes down. So I think that's probably... It's a really nice looking setup, I think. And it wasn't a huge risk either, so that kind of did. Now, the good thing now is my account's up nice. What's going on here? Give me a second. So I can withdraw from another account and my bigger account that's at 4,500. Yeah, in fact, I'll be inclined to actually drop that a little bit. So it's right where it needs to be, isn't it? That is clear push up, and I think I considered holding on there, but there's nothing worse than going for 3 points every day of your life and deciding all of a sudden to hold on. It gets to 4 points, comfortably making your profit, turns back, pushes up, and stops you out. Now, if I have got my 10 accounts and there are $7,500 in there, and I see something like that, that's the time to hold on. The risk was 3.25, so it was about $165. Not a huge risk, but there are orders down here, so in fact, that's probably a reason maybe not to hold too much. Actually, what could I got? So I could have got about 4 points there, maybe a bit less. But if it gets halfway down there, 6 points. If you can get 6 points, great. You've got 2 trades with 1 there, but once you're shorting into this realm of big, strong buy orders, it's probably not the best thing to do, is it? I'm trying to make money going down when all these buyers are telling me if it gets to us, we're going to buy. So I think sometimes it's just better off just to get in and out and kind of leave it like that. Just a perfect trade. Yeah, I think that's it doesn't really get much clearer than that, does it? Big, strong move down, clearly 3 triple test, pushed up, cleared any prior liquidity, and then nice, big, strong bearish. Did anybody? I don't think many people took that. I thought it was a corker. Let me have a look. Would you consider it? I'm really surprised. I'm really surprised. I don't think many people took that. Let's see if this chart looks any better. See how it pushes strong usually when you get something. So we're into this level down here. Loads of buyers down here. So clearly would have made 6 points. That's what I mean. If it's 2 legs up right to the entry point, usually as a good push down. Now, I could have held on for 6 points and got twice the amount, but when you're going short into clearly a key area, you can clearly see it, can't you? You never quite know when buyers are going to jump in heavy. It may just lick this and then turn. I'm really surprised. I didn't see anybody take that. Really surprised. So yeah, the beauty is now I can put in for another $2,000. Yeah, I mean, look how good it looked here. It looked even better on the left side. I mean, triple tests. In all fairness, triple tests do not look any better than that. I mean, you could take that down to there, couldn't you? I mean, 1, 2, straight the way up, straight the way down. It doesn't look any clearer than that, to be fair. That's as good as triple test look, in all honesty. Really surprised not many people. I couldn't see anybody else take it. So it pushed straight through that lot, didn't it? I mean, literally, it absorbed it. Now it's cleared all that out. We may end up taking off. But look where we've come down to that channel. See, when I mentioned that channel to Dan, he said no. Look how good that's reacting there. So it just goes to show people see different things sometimes. You have got to try and trust yourself to a degree. I always like to get other people's opinions, but sometimes when you see these channels, I mark them and a couple of people say no, and then 15 minutes later, they've got that on their chart. You know, they've got that on their chart. So I think you have to kind of trust yourself. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't think you can kind of avoid that. You have to at least pay attention. I mean, I'm not saying... See, my comment was, has anybody got this as a possibility? So it's not that I'm saying it's set in stone. You know what I mean? It's... we just don't often see trades as good as that, to be fair. I don't think so, especially when it comes to a triple test. I mean, usually you can get a good indication of what price does after that, and look how well that worked. That's why I was tempted to hold on, but as I say, holding on is for something later down the road. If I can get $7,500 and I'm risking 150, I'm risking 2%. That's the time to start holding on a bit. But at the moment, I'm just trying to get me money and cowardly sneak away. So channel break, new high. Same again. Look at that right off that key entry point. Look how good that looks. Trouble is, I did this the other day. Now, it's not that often I take a trade every day. So when I do, I'm better off not taking another one. So I'm up, you know, me amount for the day. So I always think I'm better off at stopping at one winning trade, because what I hate more than a straightforward loss is losing a trade when you've already made the money. It absolutely fries my head, that does. Yeah, it's not terrible. Trouble is, if you look at it on this chart, what concerns me is, you see those orders there? It pushed and picked up a load of buyers. So if loads of buyers push down here, what does that tell you? This price is more likely going to go up. That's how I kind of analyse things. So I would avoid it here personally, but that's just me. But what I will say, it is a channel break new high, and it is off the key entry point, and we haven't had a break from this channel. But with having such a lot of buyers here, that would make me stay out of a short, because if we're going to have a break, this is where we're going to have it, after we've just picked up a ton of buyers. So, and based on what I'm seeing there, that kind of may be the case. It's not set in stone. It's a little bit choppy here, but as I say, there's nothing worse for me than making money and then losing it straight away. It just, that does me in. I generally rather have not had a trade and just have a straightforward loss than give it back. Lower high, I'll go. I'm concerned here, purely and simply because we broke through. There was a ton of buyers there. So if people are going to buy here, where they're going to put the stop down here, they're going to want profit up here somewhere, aren't they? So for me, we have to have at least a break here. I hope you haven't got it, mate. It may still work, but I hope whatever you've done, it goes in your favour. I'm concerned, though, at the moment, just purely because of the buyers. Yeah, I mean, I see the temptation there. I've done it myself. And you get in there and it pushes up. Now, what would be more frustrating is it for it to come down here, because look at that. That would be a kick in the balls, that would. But once we pass these areas, it pushed through. 1 minute it looked like it, and all of a sudden it reversed, which tells me there's traders going to be buying here. And if you're buying here, you're going to put your stop down here. You're going to at least want 1-to-1, aren't you, which is up here. So I'm just staying out here as at the moment. So we have had a break. 2 pushes to a new high. It's very tempting, isn't it? And it may well work. Just sitting tight here. It is frustrating. That's why sometimes I used to give it an extra tick. Because there's nothing more frustrating than it stops you out with a 1 tick and ends up coming down 20 points. That used to absolutely fry my head. That one does. Yeah, it does a bit, doesn't it? I'm still concerned here at the moment purely because of those buyers. So you may have had a few buyers here and a few buyers here, and sometimes price will clear this out before it goes on its merry way. What I will say at the moment, looking at this second chart, it's going a bit sideways here, isn't it? So if you're going to short here, I would be looking to come out at these lows, because you just never know. We push up. Often we see this, we go up, across, and up. Now, what I will say is I probably shouldn't be talking if you're in a trade, because I think you're always best to take what you think's right, regardless of what anybody says. You know, look at someone else's chart, but make your own opinion, because it's how you learn. Because if you sort of, you know, if I say I wouldn't take that and you go, oh, you know, I'll get out of it, and it goes against you, one, it's going to frustrate you with me, and two, you know, you don't kind of learn anything. So, but you can clearly see it's going sideways, so you just don't know, do you? We've had a little drop out. As I say, cleared out some liquidity here, maybe buyers here, and it may go up, but it also could come down. But whenever we've picked up a load of buyers, I'm always a bit concerned. So you've got to make your own decisions, because that's how you learn. I can't tell you how many times someone said I'd go short there, and I went short, and I got stopped out. It used to frustrate the hell out of me. So you've got to, you know, take the good and the bad stuff with your own. Do you remember who was the trader that came in here maybe a year or two ago? He's a lovely guy, but he kept going, I'm going short here and I'm going long here, and he was winning every trade. And when you listen to someone like that, and I'm thinking he's won about 8 out of the last 9 trades, as soon as he said go short, so I went short, and price went up, and I believed him, so I got back in. So I moved my stop and it went up, and I moved my stop and it went up. I ended up losing my account. So you really have to just do what you think's right. I mean, the indications I'm seeing here is this is coming down. My only concern is it picked up a load of buyers here. So you are going to have lots of buyers trying to push this up, because there was such a large amount of them. But you just never know. You just never know. If buyers, if sellers are thinking, I love where this is and let's just go short, it may well come down. But I'm just sort of super cautious whenever I see a load of buyers come in. Call it the paranoid. That's the paranoid schizophrenic in me. In my opinion, you can't say he was winning every trade, because in the chart, people only... Yeah, I mean, but that's what I mean. He was saying on the stream, I go short. What I'm saying is, he'd say, I'm in short, and price had come down, and he'd pick up, you know what I mean? So if he said I'm going short here 895, price was coming down, he seemed to be winning. This was just a typical example of, following, other people's suggestions. And I saw him say this about 8 or 9 times, and he won, I think, every time. So I thought, this guy, because I was, more naive back then. It was probably a couple of years ago. So I kind of thought, all right, well, this guy seems, let's have a go. So the one time I decided to get in, price reverse. So no, it's just an example of, if someone's saying, oh, I wouldn't do this, I wouldn't do that. There's nothing worse for me. It doesn't happen now, but it used to happen. If I used to get into a trade, straight away I would get a comment, oh, I wouldn't go short there. And straight away it messes with your head. Now back then, a couple of 3 years ago, I didn't know what I was doing as much. Now I tend to, and I don't get it. But there's nothing more annoying than as soon as you get into a trade, someone says, oh, I think you make a mistake, blah, blah, blah. But you get out and then it goes on to win. It frustrates you. If you lose, it frustrates you because someone else has said it. So it doesn't happen anymore. It hasn't happened for a long time. But you have got to kind of learn. The best way to learn is to... Oh, yeah. I thought you said I'd muted. The best way to learn is to make your mistakes because you really learn by them. I know it's painful losing money, but it does make you a better trader because the more times you get into a certain situation. Now, this for me, it's looking like it's coming down, but I know there was a lot of buyers here, so that's why I'm always cautious. Now, there'd have been a lot of times I'd have jumped straight into a trade and I'd have lost. So now, if I get into a situation, that's what I mean. Sometimes you do nothing and it comes down. But I'm always cautious, and I think it's okay to be cautious. It never bothers me about leaving a trade. But yeah, you have to really not pay attention. You took the lower high. Good on you, mate. I'm pleased for you. Yeah, I mean, what it looks like purely from a looks point of view, absolutely. Now, Pats in a lot of cases don't use Bookmap. So Bookmap has saved me a loss, but Bookmap might have caused me missing a trade. You see what I mean? But although we seem to have sort of taken on those sellers on board, it didn't do nothing. But Bookmap is telling me there are now orders at 62, which is down here. So, yeah, absolutely. You're welcome, mate. But to be honest with you, when I take one trade, I always, as far as I'm concerned, if there was 5, 6, 7 trades in a chart a day, then I'd say take more than one. But I don't always take a trade every day. So when I do, I can walk away that day guaranteeing to be in profit. So if I'd have done that a couple of days ago, I took a win and then took 2 losses and I ended up going down. If I'd have walked away, I'd have been profitable again on that day. So for me, one winner and done is a much better option. Because there's nothing worse. When you come away from the charts and you've lost a couple of trades, your night is never quite as relaxing than if you've won a trade and you come away green. I'm guessing you guys are pretty much the same as me. So use it to keep you... Yeah, mainly, yeah. Yeah, mainly. So if, this... I put this out the other day. This is a bit of an example of what... is this the one or not? No, that's not it, isn't it? Okay, yeah. So if you look at this, you can see we got 2 little legs up, can't you, in a bearish bar? Yeah. But if you look on Bookmap, there's a massive sell orders there around about 82, which is at that line there. Whenever I see that scenario, more often than not, price gets up there. So it's very tempting to take that, especially when it comes off the key entry point. You took that, it pushed up and stopped you out. Hit these sellers here, and then push down. So the best way I can use it is if I'm looking to get into a short and I can see a load of sellers where my stop is, chances are price will get to there, and that may have said to me that maybe this isn't a wise decision. Whereas This trade here, we didn't have that. We had a few up there, but only this light blue color, which isn't strong enough. And then when we get a big, strong push down like that, regardless of that up there, there's going to be other traders there. And you can tell there was by how steep it pushed down. And it actually pushed down and it absorbed all those buyers and still kept going, which tells me there was a lot of sellers at this level. And if I remember as well, I'll have to look back later, usually you'll see that aggressive, see those aggressive buyers? It's like an imbalance, that is. You'll see more sellers there than buyers, which is another indication traders are just clicking the sell button there. So yeah. So that's why I got into a little bit of bother with it the other day. We were in a bit of chop and I thought there's sellers down here. Let's just go short, and it triggered up and stopped me. But I was in a bit of this really, and I should have stayed out of it. So I think use this to enhance your trade choice. So if I'm looking to take a short here and I see a huge amount of sellers, a few ticks above my order, then for me, chances are it's going to trigger me and stop me out. There are no guarantees, but it's definitely saved me more money than lost me more money. And I've got 10 accounts, so my average loss is can be $2,000. So if it saves you once, and you don't need to buy it, you can watch it on YouTube for free. I don't need live data right there. I can wait 3 seconds. I can see their orders at 72, which is here. Where are those orders? About 72, which are here. So I don't need real-time data. I can see where the shorts are. So if I go to take a short here and I can see those massive orders, I'd stay out of that. So I don't need by the second data. I can wait 3 or 4 seconds. So can you see this? We've broke out of this and we've pulled back up to it and dropped. I wouldn't take a short here because I can see big short orders. So my guess is it's probably going to get stopped at now, regardless of what these orders are passive orders. If see the aggressive orders starting to grow, the aggressive sellers, if enough aggressive sellers sell, it'll push price down. So you've got 3/4 of the picture in your head. So, but I think the best way to use this is if I'm thinking about taking a short, because sometimes when you take a trade, it'll stop you and push up. If it does that, there's usually sellers above where you are, or there's buyers, where you're entering. There was no setup anyway for us here. There was nothing. There wasn't even a first entry, so there's nothing you can do. But so all of a sudden, that channel now is looking absolutely beautiful. You can't deny it. Yeah, I was the only one who took that. I can't see anybody else who took that. That does nothing happen. I usually miss out and everybody else takes them. Yeah, not only with that as well, you've got a break, 2 pushes to a new high, so that's played out as well. Anyway. So, on that note, it'd be a good time now to finish, I think. It's been a good, productive day. I was up a bit yesterday. I think I was up an average of $90 on my accounts. Yeah, absolutely. We've had a nice channel up. We've had a break of it. And often, as we know, 2 pushes to a new high. or 2 pushes to a new low, however you're going to look at it. And look at it, it's right off the key entry point. And it's a triple test. To be honest with you, Telelights up here, isn't it, I'm looking at? It looked much clearer on here. I mean, triple tests don't look any better than that. 3 attempts to push up. Nice and level top. Big bearish bar, push straight up and then drop straight down and finish on its low. So triple tests don't look any more obvious. That's about a textbook looking triple test to me. I'd take that every day of the week. A lot of them can be a little bit more like this, where they're a little bit bunched together. I do prefer a little bit further apart. Yeah. I'm glad that worked for you as well. It's clearly working. I mean, for me, because we picked up the buyers, I had them buyers in my head, and I'm thinking, am I getting trapped here? So it's not that I'm right and you're wrong and you got lucky. It's purely because I'm paranoid, because I've just made money and straight away I'm thinking there's buyers here. Ordinarily, if I wouldn't have seen those buyers, I'd have quite likely had a go at that. Maybe even that one, but it's just because I could see those buyers we've just picked up. But fortunately, we absorbed them and price carried on down. So that's what I mean. You have to do what you think's right, because it is the only way you learn. It's a painful learning experience at times. There's no denying it, but you do learn. Yeah. It's quite a good way to learn, having a bit of pain. I mean, when I was a kid, you did something wrong, you got smacked backside. Doesn't happen nowadays. I'm not saying I agree with smacking kids, I don't, but when you get your arse smacked, I remember when I was at school, we used to get the cane and the slipper. You only get the cane and the slipper once or twice, you soon learn. Nowadays, kids at school have got no respect for teachers because the teachers can't touch them, and the kids know that. So, I'm not saying I agree with smacking or hitting kids. I don't. Some of my strongest memories of when I got my arse spanked proper. And I don't think it's nice to have memories like that, but that's kind of how it was done then. And now it's different. But you do learn, I think, when something's a bit painful. No arguing there. Absolutely gorgeous trays. Yeah, definitely. I mean, for that one, they don't look any better than that. And it's not often in a couple of 3 weeks that I see a trade so obvious, but I genuinely don't, which is why I jumped in it and I just let it go. I'm not thinking about getting out. It looked good enough to push down strong for me, and it did exactly what I expected. Now, you're bound to get a little bit of a pullback at the bottom. This kind of comes with the territory, and then it just careered lower. So anyway, I'm going to finish on a nice high note today. And I'm going to leave you guys to it. So yeah, it's a good day, I think, to get setups here, especially now we've touched it so many times. But it'd be interesting to see if Mac marks that later. I can't see he won't, but there you go. So I appreciate your company. I'm going to leave you guys to it. I'm going to go away and enjoy a whiskey. And it's just nice when you've had a couple of losses just to get a couple of wins, and it just kind of lifts you, doesn't it? Yeah, you too, Daryl. So I'll leave you guys to it. Best of luck this afternoon. Have a great evening. Stay safe. We will be back. Yeah, you take it easy, buddy. I'll be back tomorrow. Same time. We'll do it all again. Bye for now.